In 2014, a Facebook user shared a now-removed post, along with an image and a backstory, detailing a scary sighting of an unknown creature. According to the post, so there was a geologist who was working one evening around Liebrook and Council area, in the oil field where my husband has to go out there and work too. The geologist saw something very odd just standing there by the road, looking directly at him. He decided to take a heat signature of it. This is what he saw, believe it or not. The next day, the geologist quit. I would have too if I saw this. I told my husband to be careful when working in the oil field, especially at night, by himself. The photo went viral on Facebook, with a couple of users describing the creature captured in the photo as a skinwalker, a creature from Navajo folklore whose name translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. Because of the Navajo's reluctance to talk about the subject, there has been a lot of confusion about skinwalkers, and is not a well-understood subject. So this skinwalker image actually came from a scene from the 1982 horror film called Extra, shown here. This movie eventually got a sequel, a third film, and a potential fourth film that seemed to have been scrapped. Anyways, because of how weird the creature looked, it explains why this image was used in so many skinwalker-related videos and articles. Nowadays, any creature, real or imaginary, can just be slapped with the skinwalker name just for the sake of internet points. I remember stumbling upon this image a few years back, in one of those articles about the top scariest things caught on trail cams, and I just so happened to stumble upon this image once again. Some videos and articles simply claim that this trail cam image shows a possible ghost girl, and the reasoning for this is because the deer don't seem to be bothered by or notice this little girl. There's actually a little bit more to the story. So around 2014, the image spread around Facebook and made its way anonymously to a news outlet, Channel 3 WBTV, where it led me to the origin of this image. It turns out this picture, which is actually a part of a series of photos taken by the photographer William Harper for his project called Following the Deer. The girl featured in this project is also seen with other forest critters, which probably means that they're used to being around humans. Reason why the animals aren't startled, so don't worry. The girl in this trail cam photo is not a ghost. And talking about trail cameras, for years, eyewitnesses have described seeing a monster, half human, half goat. Depending on where you live, it will always have a different origin story. It can be a failed science experiment, a vengeful spirit, or a demonic entity. But one name will always strike fear to those who know the legend of the goatman. This image has been circling around for the internet for a while. It depicts to be what cryptozoologists would call the goatman. Others have called it a skinwalker or a satyr, if you're familiar with the mythology. It seems to be crouched over a person, planning to take them into the woods, but caught by surprise by a trail camera. While trying to find the origin of this image, the first search results came from a website called Juxtapose, which reported on an event back in April 12 of 2012. This was an event where artists created works of art based on urban legends, and what special meaning it has to them, and one of these artworks being The Goatman by Lou Delport. But to make sure this was the first appearance, there was an earlier post even further back. In July 31st of 2011, a user by the name of Viergacht uploaded an image on DeviantArt simply titled The Goatman. So was it Lou Delport or was it Viergacht who made this image? Well, it turns out they're both one and the same. Viergacht mentioned Twitter at one point, which eventually led me to the revelation that Lou Delport and Viergacht were the same person. So that solves the mystery of the image of the Goatman, which was used in many scary story videos and creepypastas. And talking about creepypastas, Back in the early 2010s, a story, or more specifically, a creepypasta, became quite popular due to the nature of the story and the image attached to it. Here's a quick summary if you haven't heard about this story. This creepypasta is set in the 1970s in Cedars-Sinai Hospital. In the story, there's a woman who arrives at the hospital, but she doesn't appear to be human. She moves like a human, but her face resembles more like a mannequin. The story describes how uncomfortable the medical staff is. However, they proceeded to give her medical care, but with some resistance from the woman. The doctor tried to get information from her, but she bit him, tearing a part of his neck off, and declared, "I am God." Classic creepypastas. Long story short, she kills everyone in the hospital but conveniently leaves one surviving nurse who wrote the story, and named her the Expressionless. The story, which was actually written by Tom Lever, or TJ Lee on YouTube. The photo comes from a book titled Assignments, written by Anthony Charles Robert Armstrong Jones, 1st Earl of Snowdon, which was published in 1972. According to the creepypasta, the events take place in 1972. The mannequin is actually a dummy used by student nurses for training, not a scary monster. And that's all for tonight, folks. There were plenty of images that I wanted to cover, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So if you do want a part 2, let me know in the comments. And let me know if there are other images you would like me to talk about. And if you want, you don't have to, but liking this video would mean a lot. Thank you all, and good night.